All right. How can you, as a man, stay calm during arguments with your wife without having to over explain yourself? And the reason why you're on this video right now is because I already know you're doing all the right things already in your marriage. You're the man that takes pride in providing well financially for your wife, for your family. You put a lot of effort into what you do, right? But the thing that you have, or the issue that you have right now, is that whenever things get tense, whenever there is conflict with your wife, you feel like you have to say more, to explain more, to be understood, to get clarity, for her to understand you. And this right here is what's causing you to actually lose your calm. Because I know you mean well and you're trying to get her to see your point. But when you keep on doing this, it's only doing more harm to you. So we have to shift this. This is exactly what we're going to cover today in this video. Now, the first thing here I have to help you understand is that what most men are typically understanding, or what they typically see, is if you just explain it better, right? Then your wife is going to understand. Hmm? But you notice that every time you do this, what is she telling you? What is the feedback that you're getting from your wife? What is she telling you right now? She's saying things like, hey, I feel as though like you're pressuring me. I feel as though you're trying to control me. I feel as though like I'm not emotionally safe right now. Right? So you're getting the feedback and you're seeing that hey, something has to change, but you're not quite understanding why. And you're trying to now break this because you know it's causing a lot of damage right now in your marriage and she's pulling away. So we have to shift this. And I'm going to cover a few right now. There's the three subtle mistakes you're making right now when it comes to you over explaining and how you can shift that yourself to be able to start seeing a change and how you're leading conflict with what I call calm, right? A more calm setting this with your wife. All right. So the first thing is first, you have to understand over explaining is destroying everything right now when it comes to your conflict and you and your wife. All right, because you keep adding more words to try to be clear. And the way that I see it is like this: you're at a place right now where you're trying to get her to process what you're saying. The most obvious point, right? It's very, to you, it's right. It makes sense, but she's not picking it up right now. Because what I understand, what I know is that typically within a minute of you talking, you could spew out about roughly 150 words in a minute. But within that actual minute of words, she only picks up 1 to 3% of those words, which is about 1 to 5 words every minute, right? So this is why it's a frustration for me right now when you're trying to talk more because you're trying to almost catch up to getting her to understand, which is why it takes so long for her to process and to hear you. And it's doing more damage for you because you're losing your calm in that moment. All right. So in reality, what's happening here for you is that more words creates more overwhelm for your wife. And even though you're not intentionally doing this, it's adding in this pressure and it's preventing her from actually listening to what you have to say. So the key here is you have to learn how to structure what you say in a more concise way and then from there you stop, you pause. There's no more to be said. You have to allow time and space for her to process what you have to say. But your issue is what are we supposed to say in those actual minutes or those actual seconds there? That's where we have to make that shift and we'll get there, right? But the key here is that I want you to see that the more words that you say, as much as you're trying to be clear, this is not helping you in the moment. You have to shift back into saying less now with intention and giving her the space to be able to process what you say. Because now when she processes, it's not processing a 3 hour argument. It's not processing a few seconds or even a minute of words. But now she can say and say, you know what? Let's come back and talk about this now in a more respectful, calm conversation in a way. Yeah. Next, number two. This is one you do a lot too as well. You tend to defend your point. Now, you defend your point typically when you notice that she is questioning what you just said. So you see this as a way of you having to now correct what she said because she's asking a question that is contradicting to what you are in your mind is obvious, is logical, right? The way I see it is like this. It's like you are driving down a road and you put in the GPS to the road to your destination, and you're trying to now get to this get to the spot where you're trying to go to, right? And it's about an hour drive. But then on the sign as you start driving, you see a sign that says, "Hey, are you sure you're going the right way? Turn this way." And then from there, you turn that way. And then as you turn, you realize there's another sign that's saying, "Hey, are you sure it wasn't the other way?" And now you turn that way. And it keeps happening over and over until you realize there's about 4 hours that pass by, and you haven't even maintained or even got close to where you're trying to go. So you spent more time, you lost direction, you lost track of everything because you're trying to go, you're turning the wrong way. You're following these signs. And the signs for you is when she questions your points. You keep following her lead unintentionally because you're trying to prove your point. You're trying to get her to see what you have to say. And you're getting pulled into this back and forth. When your job was to simply just acknowledge her feelings and maintain your point. Acknowledge the sign, but you're still going to go in your direction where you have to go, right? The key here I want you to also to see is that you're not trying to dismiss your wife. You're not trying to tell her that she shouldn't ask questions or she shouldn't feel a kind of way. I understand that this may be scary for you right now. I understand you may not like what I'm saying here right now. I know that this probably may not be the best time for you to as well. But then from there, you still maintain where you have to go. You maintain where you have to go. Yeah, you don't have to defend yourself. Just acknowledge, and then from there you maintain. Okay. Last one we have here is going to be it's now. I see this. This is probably your biggest one, and it's so subtle that you probably don't realize you're doing it. But what happens here is you chase with more questions. So instead of her asking you questions, now you flip it on the other side because you try to let her know your point, try to let her know what's going on. And then from there, you notice that she pulls away or she withdraws or her mood changes. So now you feel as though something was wrong because you notice that she's not reacting the way you want her to react right away. She's not overjoyed and she's moody or she's sad. So now you have to get some clarity, get closure, feel secure in what you said. So now you start to ask more questions, right? But the more you ask her in that moment, you're preventing her from having the space to be able to process what you already said, right? Because you need now closure, you need clarity in her emotions to feel okay, in your own emotions. Yep. So now you're creating even more pressure on top of the pressure that was already there by asking questions. Hey, is everything okay? Why are you sad? I don't know why you're so upset for. It wasn't even that big of a deal, right? And you start to question and question. Come on, come on. Why are you so upset? And you do this because you're trying to get her back to being on the same page so that you can focus on your demanding career and your work and your life. But when she's not happy or when she's not, in a good mood, you have to now ask more questions to get her back into the good mood to make sure that things are okay. Because you feel it's not okay if her mood is not up here right now, right? But again, this creates more pressure and she pulls away even more now. And you're probably realizing this as well, right? So the shift is that when you give her a point, when you give her questions, when you give her whatever you're trying to talk to her about, and she tends to pull away or she has an issue, her mood changes, don't automatically assume that your point was not heard or that it's a bad thing. She just has to process what you said. She's a human being. You can't expect her to want to be ecstatic right away, especially if you're making a change or you're shifting a pattern or you're giving her a different boundary. You have to allow the space and time for her to process it, to get to regulate her own emotions, right? That isn't your job because if you do it for her, you're now causing pressure and you're stopping her from growing and learning and becoming this woman that you want her to be for you. So stop, slow down. I want you to figure out from yourself now, why do you feel so much pressure to have to change her emotion and ask her questions? That's what you can focus on as a man. That's where you can now get more control and power back into yourself, right? Which is a lot, which for you right now is like, oh, okay, this is like now me now. It's an internal shift and you have to now focus with yourself. It's a lot easier to go and focus on her. Why are you upset? Why are you mad? Why are you like that's a lot simpler. But the man who's really calm and knows how to truly lead with calm, he shifts it around to himself. And he says, you know what? This is probably more to do with me than with her. Why do I feel this way when her mood changes? How can I shift myself in this way to not stop adding pressure that I'm not trying to add? How can I be more secure of myself in this moment to allow her the space to be able to process and come back to me naturally? That's the shit that I want you to be able to move into as the man who is leading his household, who is truly leading his wife and his family, right? Because again, I know you're already doing the right things as the husband already. You're the man that I understand. You're just like me. You're already providing well financially. You're doing well at this. You're disciplined in every other area of life, right? And this is the one quiet area that no one knows about. And I'm trying to get you to see it's not as hard as your other areas of life where you had to grind and bust your ass off to really become this strong man for your family. This is more of a internal shift where it has to do with more of a calm steadiness that I want you to exude as you're leading and as you're moving, right? So the core for this is this: the more you talk in these moments of tension, yeah, the more you lose control. The more you're talking, that means over explaining, defending yourself, asking questions. That's when you lose your calm and control out of the frustration. This is the shift that has to turn for you as a man so you can understand how to lead these moments of tension. Because it doesn't call for doing more, it calls for less and intentionally less. All right? Calm isn't built by saying more, it's built by saying less. Okay? Now, for yourself here, if you're noticing that this pattern is happening a lot in your marriage, and you're probably hearing the words right now from your wife, she's saying things like, "This is it. I'm tired of this. I can't do this anymore." And you're feeling the pressure, not because you want to just leave. You actually want to be better. You actually are the man who cherishes your family, who cherishes your wife. You really want to fix this, and you're frustrated because you've tried so many other options, but nothing is really sticking for you. And you want a clear path forward, right? Well, this is exactly what I cover in what I call my Calm Man Audit. And the key here is that I'm going to help show you what is actually losing your calm in that moment. What is the one thing that is happening there that we have to be able to shift? Because I can tell you right now, it's never usually this big massive change. You already have a lot of good going on right now, but it's usually a smaller shift that you're not seeing that has to be unlocked. And with the right amount of questions that I can ask you, I can see in a matter of a couple of minutes right away. I know for sure what is happening, and then from there, you will unlock it for yourself. I will show you, and you'll be able to see a different shift to now make a move forward and fix this. And it's exactly when you realize that now, hey, I can know how to lead these moments with confidence with my wife without having to say more. So again, link is below in the description below. And from there, go ahead and schedule your comment order with me directly, and I'll be able to see exactly what's happening, and we can now figure out a game plan on how to move forward from there together. All right, let's go.